Good afternoon. This is the weekly video briefing for January 12th, 2017. I hope this finds everybody in good spirits. First thing, we have a few announcements. I might add this is a thrill-packed, large briefing this week, so I'm going to try to hurry through for us. First thing is that Chief Fatone wanted me to remind everybody that signatures are required on all run tickets. Both paramedic and EMT must sign, and you cannot just do initials. It must be a signature. These are the rules that we have to go by, so make sure that we're doing them. The new mandatory OT policy is going to be beginning soon. And how that works is it uses a total hours of OT, both scheduled overtime, voluntary overtime that you work, and mandatory overtime. So if you volunteer and you work 24 hours of voluntary overtime coming up, and then all of a sudden we have to go to the mandatory list, you're going to be 24 hours ahead of those who haven't either volunteered or been mandatory. So they both add together, and then in the if the hours are equal between two different people, then seniority rules. So if you have a couple months seniority over the other person and both of you have a total of 48 hours of mandatory or of overtime, either one that you've worked, then the person with the least amount of seniority will be tapped first, and then the second person on up by within the number of hours. So be sending out things in writing, emails to everybody so they can see the policy, but just want to give you a heads up that probably sometime early next week that's going to go into place. Also the new battalion alignment. We're going to 7 different battalions, as you can imagine, and the battalion numbers are going to change. So that begins on the 16th in Telestaff. I'm going to move the stations in Telestaff on the 17th, the morning of the 17th. So the number of the stations isn't going to change. It's just going to line up with the new battalion numbers that are put into place on the day before. We had to do the battalions on because it requires a lot of shift changes on the battalion chief, which will then have to start on the beginning of a pay period, as you can imagine, which is Monday the 16th. Also, the medical side of the house is putting out the new updated clinical care guidelines. The hard copy is being printed now at the printers, but there'll be an electronic version available either late today or tomorrow at the latest. Now that's going to come out with, the training folks have put out a video kind of outlining the changes and everything, and also will come with a PDF printable outline of the changes, so you can have the electronic version, you can have a video of the differences and changes, and you'll also have an outline, a paper outline if you choose to print it, of the changes and of the clinical care guidelines and changes. So that's coming out it may be this video out, but it'll either be out today or tomorrow, and then of course they'll let you know what the implementation schedule is as it come out, but you'll be able to see it today or tomorrow. Have some upcoming opportunities, depending on who you are, they may be available to you. The first one is that the county, Mr. Hester and Chief Stravino went and talked to Polk State, and they're going to make their way down to South Florida, but the concept is that they're going to have shift-friendly paramedic classes coming up in the works, and the county's going to pay for the classes and all the materials up front for the people to go, and then the employees will sign some type of commitment with a number of years to stay with us, or a payback program if you don't do that. That's for the paramedic classes. Now the other thing, similarly, the thing they're going to do is a shift-friendly fire class in the works. Now the reason they haven't gotten as far in getting the fire class worked out is that the meetings had to be canceled because of some personal issues that week here, but they were both being worked on at the same time. We're just a little ahead of schedule, or further ahead on the paramedic end of this than we were on the fire class end of this. But both disciplines are going to be, the county really wants to encourage the education for the members who need the other one, and we're going to get that going so we can work it out. As you can imagine, the logistics of the paramedic class is going to be the limiting factor there. We can only ride so many people and clinicals and things like that, so that's going to be a logistical issue. We can't overwhelm the system with these classes, so maybe stretched over a couple of year period. But I want to give you a very broad, here's what's coming up, the details to follow, because all the details, as you can imagine, have not been worked out yet to the way it needs to be. So just heads up, it's coming. We've got some unit upgrades and some moves coming up. First, Medic 93 is going to be moving, relocating to 970 and eventually become Rescue 971. The Medic 74 is going to move to 440 and become Rescue 441. Medic 73 will move to 780 and become Rescue 781. Medic 12 to 120 and become Rescue 121. The battalion chief that's located at 120 will be relocated down to Station 11. Now, this process is going to begin in about 2 weeks and it'll be completed as resources become available. As you can imagine, we don't have everything that we need to make this happen overnight, so we have to do it in a fiscally responsible manner. But just to give you a heads up, these are coming. These moves are coming, and so you kill any rumors in the field. It's not really rumors; it's fact. So we want to make sure everybody has a heads up. This is what's coming up in the future, and there'll be a lot more email and written traffic to see this. Some reminders. I guess it's my standard reminder set. We meet command staff meetings every Wednesday morning, generally at 9 o'clock here at headquarters, and we want you guys to get engaged. I'm sure this is a lot of information passed out today will make its way around, but if you have suggestions and things, let us know. Communicate with me. Email's the best. We want you to know what's going on and feel part of the system because, again, Chief Trevino and with Chief Hester in the County Manager's Office really wanting to move us ahead, this organization ahead. So there will be a lot of positive changes in the future, and we want to make sure that everybody's prepared for those changes. And that's why some of these questions people have asked, hey, what's coming up? We heard there's a paramedic class or there's a fire class. We want to get it out there, even though we don't have all the details, but these things are being worked on, and we want to make sure that you guys know what's happening. As usual, let me know if you have any questions or comments, especially at email address. If not, thank you for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next week.